Welcome to my channel, and this is Enjoy with Kitten Story. Title: The Kingdom of Mirrors. In a faraway land, nestled between towering mountains and lush green valleys, there was a kingdom unlike any other. This was the Kingdom of Mirrors, a place where every wall, every door, and every corner was adorned with mirrors of all shapes and sizes. The mirrors were not just ordinary reflections. They were magical, holding secrets, stories, and sometimes glimpses of other worlds. The people of the Kingdom of Mirrors were known for their wisdom, for the mirrors had been their teachers for centuries. Every child in the kingdom learned to read, write, and understand the world by studying the reflections in the mirrors. The mirrors showed them history, taught them about distant lands, and even revealed the hidden thoughts and feelings of those who looked into them. However, the mirrors also had rules. They would only reveal their secrets to those who were pure of heart and had good intentions. At the heart of the kingdom was a grand palace, the Palace of Reflections, where the most powerful and ancient mirrors were kept. The palace was home to King Lorien, a kind and just ruler, and his daughter, Princess Ilara. Ilara was a bright and curious young woman, known throughout the kingdom for her beauty and intelligence. She spent hours each day in the Hall of Mirrors, learning from them and asking questions about the world beyond the kingdom. One day, while exploring a forgotten corridor in the palace, Ilara came across a small, dusty mirror tucked away in a dark corner. The mirror was different from any she had ever seen. Its frame was made of a strange, dark metal that seemed to absorb light, and its surface was clouded, as if it had not been used in many years. Intrigued, Ilara reached out and touched the mirror. As soon as her fingers brushed the surface, the mirror cleared, revealing a swirling vortex of colors and light. Ilara gasped as she saw images flash before her eyes: a vast desert, a stormy sea, and finally, a grand castle surrounded by a dark forest. The castle was unlike any she had seen in her kingdom. It was majestic but eerie, with tall spires that seemed to reach into the sky and windows that glowed with an unnatural light. A voice echoed from the mirror, soft but clear. "The Castle of Shadows awaits you, Princess Ilara. Only you can uncover its secrets and bring light to its darkness." Ilara was both frightened and fascinated. She had heard stories of the Castle of Shadows, a place of mystery and danger that lay beyond the borders of the Kingdom of Mirrors. It was said that the castle was once a place of great beauty and power, but it had fallen into darkness after its ruler, the Sorcerer of Shadows, had disappeared many years ago. Ilara knew that the mirror had chosen her for a reason. She could not ignore the call. She immediately sought out her father, King Lorien, and told him what she had seen. The king listened carefully, his face growing serious. "The Castle of Shadows is a place of great peril, Ilara," he said. "But if the mirror has chosen you, then it is your destiny to go. You must be careful, my daughter. Trust in your heart, and the mirrors will guide you." The next morning, Ilara set out on her journey, accompanied by her loyal companion, a wise and gentle owl named Orion. The two traveled for days, crossing the vast desert and navigating the stormy sea that Ilara had seen in the mirror. Finally, they reached the dark forest that surrounded the Castle of Shadows. The forest was thick with ancient trees, their twisted branches casting eerie shadows on the ground. As Ilara and Orion made their way through the forest, they encountered strange and magical creatures, some friendly, others not. But Ilara was determined, and with Orion by her side, she faced each challenge with courage and wisdom. At last, they arrived at the Castle of Shadows. The castle was even more imposing up close, its dark stone walls towering above them. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, but Ilara pressed on. She knew that the answers she sought were inside. The massive doors of the castle creaked open as Ilara approached, and she stepped into the grand entrance hall. The hall was vast and dimly lit, with tall pillars and long, dark corridors stretching out in every direction. At the far end of the hall stood a grand staircase leading up to the upper levels of the castle. As Ilara ascended the stairs, she noticed that the walls of the castle were lined with mirrors, just like in her kingdom. But these mirrors were different. Their surfaces were cracked and tarnished, and instead of showing clear reflections, they were filled with swirling shadows. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the hall. "Who dares enter the castle of shadows?" Ilara stood tall, her voice steady. "I am Princess Ilara of the Kingdom of Mirrors. I have come to uncover the secrets of this castle and bring light to its darkness." The voice laughed, a sound that sent chills down Ilara's spine. "You are brave, Princess, but the darkness here is deep. Many have tried to lift the curse of the Castle of Shadows, but none have succeeded." Ilara knew that she had to be strong. She reached into her backpack and pulled out the small mirror that had led her here. Holding it up, she spoke to it. "Show me the truth. Show me the way to lift the curse." The mirror glowed brightly, and the swirling shadows within it cleared. An image appeared, showing a tall, shadowy figure standing in a grand chamber deep within the castle. The figure was the Sorcerer of Shadows, and in his hands he held a glowing orb of pure light. The voice spoke again, softer this time. "The Sorcerer of Shadows was once a great and noble ruler, but he was consumed by his desire for power. He created the orb of light to increase his strength, but it also trapped him in darkness. To lift the curse, you must find the orb and use it to restore the light to the castle." Ilara nodded, understanding what she had to do. She followed the image in the mirror, navigating the dark corridors of the castle until she reached the grand chamber. There, standing in the center of the room, was the Sorcerer of Shadows. His form was dark and indistinct, but Ilara could see the orb of light glowing faintly in his hands. With courage in her heart, Ilara approached the sorcerer. "I have come to help you," she said. "Let me use the orb to restore the light to the castle and free you from the darkness." The sorcerer hesitated, his shadowy form flickering. "I have been trapped for so long," he whispered. "But if you believe you can succeed where others have failed, then take the orb." Ilara reached out and took the orb from the sorcerer. As soon as she touched it, the orb began to glow brighter, filling the chamber with a warm, golden light. The shadows that had filled the room began to recede, and the Sorcerer of Shadows' form grew clearer. He was no longer a dark, shadowy figure, but a tall, regal man with kind eyes. "Thank you, Princess Ilara," the sorcerer said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You have freed me from the darkness and restored the light to the Castle of Shadows." As the light spread throughout the castle, the cracked and tarnished mirrors began to repair themselves, their surfaces becoming clear and bright once again. The darkness that had haunted the castle for so long was lifted, and the castle was restored to its former glory. Ilara returned to her kingdom, where she was hailed as a hero. The Kingdom of Mirrors celebrated her bravery and wisdom, and the story of her journey to the Castle of Shadows was told for generations to come. And so, the Kingdom of Mirrors and the Castle of Shadows were united, their mirrors reflecting not just the past, but also the bright future that lay ahead. And every time Ilara looked into a mirror, she remembered the lessons she had learned, that even in the darkest places, there is always a light waiting to be found.